Hello students, I'm Himani Sharma, your UGC NET educator. In this new YouTube video, we are going to move forward with the concept series that we had about paper 1 and of course the unit of higher education. So what is the topic that we are going to deal with in today's particular YouTube lecture is NEP 2020 or New Education Policy 2020 or National Education Policy 2020. But how are we going to move forward with this particular thing? First of all, our approach should be that we are going to look at the National Policy on Education 1968, which was there during the time of Srimati Indira Gandhi, right? Then National Policy on Education came in the year 1986. So how are you going to memorize it? That these two things got interchanged, the last two digits. Then we have the New Education or National Education Policy of the year what? Of the year 2020. So this is what we are going to move forward. But first of all, we are going to look ahead with 1968, 1986, and of course, then we are going to delve deep into the salient features of NEP 2020. So first is National Policy on Education in the year 1968, as I told you, during the time of the, when Indira Gandhi ji was there, Indira Gandhi was the Prime Minister, arising out of the recommendations of the Kothari Commission. So one thing which I want you all to take a note of is whenever you're making notes which concern NEP or basically anything which are related to the commissions, which are related to the policies, etc., there are certain things which you all should be knowing. That this particular thing has been taken out on the recommendations, etc. So, of course, the recommendations of Kothari Commission, which was there during 1964, 66 to 66, out of that very thing, this particular National Policy on Education emerged on those very recommendations, right? It aimed, so what are the aims? You can jot it down in the pointer system, to promote national progress. And how national progress should be there? Through the spread of education, sense of common citizenship and culture, the diversity that we talk about, to strengthen national integration. Stress on the need for radical reconstruction of what? Education. So it is of course the National Policy on Education. It means that the reconstruction basically or mostly will take part in the field of education. So if there are any reforms which are supposed to be made, etc., under this very policy, those things will be done. To improve the quality at all stages, be it pre-primary, primary, secondary, senior secondary, etc., higher education part, all the stages should be taken care of to provide what? To provide the quality education that should be there. Give much greater attention to science and tech. So, of course, jot down the bold points, jot down the ones which are important as I'm telling you. The cultivation of moral values. So it is not just about mugging up things which are there in the classroom, but providing quality education. And with quality education, we are going to learn about the morals and the ethics, because we are also talking about the national progress. Correct? Closer relation between education and the life of the people, because it is education only which builds values, which builds ethics in people. So the relationship, the bonding between these two things should be straightened up. Very briefly indicated, the strenuous efforts should be made for the early fulfillment of the DPs under Article 45. So any articles which come under any policy should be knowing those very things. So Article 45 of the Constitution, which seeks to provide free and compulsory education for all children up to the age of 14. So this was one such thing which was promising in the 1968 policy as well, that yes, till 14 years of age, you all should be getting education, the primary education, etc. Right? It suggested that the suitable programs be developed to reduce the prevailing wastage and stagnation in schools. So any kind of halt which is there in the schools, any kind of wastage which is there in the school, and not in the literal sense, the wastage in the educational sense we are talking about. Ensure that every child who is enrolled in school successfully completes the prescribed course. It is not that jaldbazi mein kuch karwa rahe hain, anything you are, leaving out just because you want to complete with the syllabus and start with the examination. That thing should not be there, but a prescribed course should be completed at a particular level. Correct? Then came National Policy on Education, 1986. After whom? After Indira Gandhi's reign, who came? Rajiv Gandhi. So this was during the time of Rajiv Gandhi, of course, right? The government of India reviewed the prevailing conditions in the educational system, of course, and the policy was articulated. You need to know this very thing. Challenge of education, subtitle is a policy perspective. So we are going to see the challenges which the Indian education system particularly faces, and we are going to address them particularly. The new education policy to prepare India for the 21st century, to bring certain things in the forefront, to deal with things in the educational sphere in such a good manner that you know that this is how things should be there, this is how the courses should be provided, this is how the curriculum should be divided, etc. Education in India stands at crossroads today. Neither normal, linear expansion, nor the existing pace and nature of improvement can meet the needs of the situation. What kind of situation? The need of the situation of the 21st century. So we need to bring forward certain reforms in the educational system, in the educational sphere, so that we can move forward with things. It acknowledged the achievement of policy goals set by the 1968 policy, like setting up of a school within a kilometer and adoption of a common educational structure, like we have 10+2 structure, etc. So there were certain things which were there. However, stated that increased financial and organizational support is important. If you are giving financial funds, if you are giving any kind of organizational support to the educational institutions, the schools, the colleges, etc., only then the education will improve. Suggested that 12th stage +2 stage can be accepted as a part of school education. Initially it was a part of college education, higher education mein, but after that +2 ko bhi they started getting it in the school educational sphere. The national system implied that up to a given level, all students, irrespective of their caste, creed, location, have access to education of comparable quality. So even if you have different caste, creed, location, sex, you will not be discriminated based on those very particular things, but you will be provided with, given on the same type of education as the other people. So equality is there. The policy reiterated the need to seek to take effective measures for the implementation of the common school system. Common school system, which was recommended in the 1968 policy, that yes, this is how a school system should be there. Inclusion of motor handicapped children. So, see, special schools, etc. were, there. But they are also saying now that even if a student is handicapped, they should be given admission in normal schools, and the arrangement of special schools at district headquarters or district levels should be organized. In section 5, issues related to elementary education were specially addressed. What was that? Access, enrollment and retention of all children up to 14 years in the schools should be there. They should be getting education, they should be enrolled, they should be the one who are retaining their own selves in, of course, in the school, according to the school curriculum, etc. Correct? Quality improvement, right? Child-centered and activity-centered teaching should be done, so that the children also get involved in the teaching process, in the teaching learning process. They know that what they are being taught, and they're also participating actively. Correct? So child-centric and of course activity-centered. Activities should be performed. Any kind of physical punishment should be removed. Right? Continuing the practice of not failing the students in any class at the elementary level. Right? So these were certain things which were there in the 1986 system. Now, one more thing that I want to tell you all is, in the 1986 policy, access and equity was there. When we will be starting with the NEP 2020, there is this one slide where we have talked about this very thing. NEP 2020 focuses on the quality education. that students should get access to quality education. Here in National Policy on Education 1986, access that it should be provided to all and fairness regardless of caste, creed. That was one thing which was taken up as an important point, but there was nothing being really talked about as the quality in education system should be increased. Access and equity was being talked about, as we saw in the previous slide, being even if you belong from any caste, creed, gender, sex, etc., you all are going to get equal type of education. So what are the different changes which we see in the national or the new education policy 2020? What were the prominent changes which have been there in the educational system, which are important from the NET perspective? We are going to cover them in these very particular points. MHRD, right? MHRD, Ministry of Human Resources and Development. It was renamed as the Ministry of Education. Correct? GDP investment, it was increased that this much of GDP should be used in the field of education. So from 1.6 to 6% even, rising up to that very level, that is a very important step. Focusing on the gross enrollment ratio, how many students have enrolled in a particular course, it will be increased to 50% by 2035, and this has been asked in the NET examination. So you all should be knowing this pointer as well. First, we are going to talk about that what are the changes in the school education pattern. The changes in the school education pattern have been that students are supposed to learn coding from class 6, which they have taken up from what? Which they have taken up from China. So China influence, they have taken the influence from China, as in students should be learning coding from class 6. This is one pointer. School education right now we are talking about. Mother tongue to be a medium of instruction till 5th class, adopting local language, Europe advantage. So second thing they have taken from Europe, the local language formula, that till 5th class students should be taught in the mother tongue. Report card will be comprehensive, which will be based on skills and capabilities, so that a 360-degree angle, 360-degree view perspective of a student can be seen. The progress card, which is academic, practical, and of course co-curricular activities, to see what have been the interests of a student. Does he or she really like to participate in co-curricular activities, basketball, etc., or do they really like participating, having good score in the academia, etc. So a 360-degree angle of their progress can be seen in their report cards. Now comes higher education. What have been the changes in the higher educational sphere? Single regulatory system for single regulatory body for higher education should be there, which will exclude medical and legal bodies. So anything which is related to medical or legal education, they will have different regulatory bodies, right? But apart from that, in the higher education sphere, only one body will be there. MPhil to be discontinued. Flexibility of subjects, you can choose amongst more or one way or the other, so there is no rigidity. Public investment in education to reach 6% of GDP at the earliest. This was in the higher educational sphere. Teachers ke liye, what have been the changes? Number one is NCRT, right? Then we have National Curriculum Framework for Teacher Education. That was also introduced. If you see NCF is a document which has some way or the other, certain things which are related to what are the new things which are going to be introduced in the framework for, foundational stages, for adult education, for higher school education, right? So for teacher education as well, it was introduced. By 2030, minimum degree qualification to be a teacher will be 4-year integrated B.Ed. So these are certain changes for the teachers. Moving forward, this is the image that I have here, which I was talking or telling you all about, that 1986 policy, right? In 1992, it was modified a little bit with the plan of action, which was there. And yes, this thing you all are supposed to write down. Right to Education Act, which was there in the year 2009 in the month of August. So NPE it was, and it was talking about access and equity. That availability of education should be to all along with the fairness. But NEP 2020 introduced a concept with the motto called quality education, that regardless of anything, students should be having access to education which is of good quality, correct? So that there is no rigidity, there is flexibility enough to move forth, back and forth between the courses. So school education, higher education, different spheres are there. Key proposals. What are the key proposals of NEP 2020? Number one is the NEP proposes to change the 10+2 structure. So initially, let me just show you. Initially, this was the previous academic structure where the foundational stage was not given much importance, the Anganwadi, etc. But it started from class 1 to 10 and then +1, +2, or class 11th and 12th. So 10+2 stage was the formula which was previously there. But now NEP said that we are going to move forward with the 5-3-3-4 formula, which includes 3 years of Anganwadi, pre-primary schooling, etc. and then 2 years of class 1 and 2. Then 3 to 5, correct? 6 to 8, 5, 3, 3 and 4, that is 9th to 12th class. So they removed this foundational stage which was not given much importance. These people gave in the NEP 2020, correct? So that was there. So 5, 3, 3, 4, this has been asked in the NET examination. The undergraduate degree structure shall be available for 3 and 4 years duration. Multiple entry and exit options should be provided. Now, when I say multiple entry and exit options, which means that if you are in a 3-year undergrad degree, if you are in a 3 years, bachelor's degree, of course, you can, if there has been any kind of problem for which you are supposed to leave your degree in between. Let's just say you just completed the first year of your degree and then for certain reasons you had to leave your degree. Sorry, your credits will be stored in the academic bank of credits, right, where you will have to register, of course, right? Academic bank of credits mein aapke credits store ho jayenge. Then you can resume if you again start doing, let's just say you are doing BA honors in English, correct? So first year mein you did the first year, you completed the first year. For the second year you have to leave. So your credits, that this many lectures you have attended for first year, of course it means that you have completed your first year of course in the bachelor's honors degree. Then after 2 or 3 years you come back to the same college or a different college and you go about with the same degree, correct, that you want to continue this very particular degree. Now you will not have to pursue the first year again. You can start your course from where you have left, that is from the second year. Same is the case if you leave it, if you do it till 2 years and you leave it for the third year part, you can start from the third year because your credits will be stored in the academic bank of credits, correct? So multiple entry and exit options, and that one thing is there that if you have completed your first year, you will be granted with a diploma. If you have completed your second year, you will be granted with advanced diploma, and third year, of course, you are going to get a proper degree only, correct? If you have 4 years undergrad course, how, like BTech, etc., we have for 4 years, etc., correct? For first year, second year, first year diploma, second year will also be considered diploma, third year will be advanced diploma, and fourth year will be the proper degree. Same is the case here. If for certain reason you'll have to leave in between any year, you'll be given a degree there, of course, a diploma, advanced diploma degree, but you can resume from where you left, correct? So this is one such thing. The higher educational institutions now will have the options of offering a 1 year's master degrees under the new education policy. But this 1 year's master's degree, I also want to show you here that this 1 year's master's degrees will mostly be for the 4-year undergrad course, correct? Like the BTech, etc. students, because they have 4 years only. 1 year master degree will be for the research part, the dissertation that they are supposed to present. For the people who are having 3 years of undergrad, 3 years undergrad degree, for them, masters will be for 2 years only, correct? Government to discontinue MPhil, we have talked about this very particular thing. No hard separations between arts and sciences. You can choose between different subjects. right? To eliminate harmful hierarchies amongst and silos between different areas of learning. We are going to see it here as well. Correct? So no hard and fast distinction is there. Then MERUs will be established. This is important. What is the full form of MERU? Multidisciplinary Education and Research Universities. To promote the research culture, and which will be the bodies which will be having, the authority to conduct the research, etc. It will be IITs and IIMs. Correct? Interdisciplinary research, these will be created. These centers will be created. So there have been certain salient features. We have talked about these very certain features already in the previous slide. So there is no such thing. Now we have one question here for you all, right? Who was the chairman of NEP 2020 drafting committee? You are supposed to drop the answer in the comment section below, and we will be pinning down the answer shortly. Right? And the course, etc., is of course the English literature, and paper 1 course is going to start soon. So you can visit about that very particular thing on the Drishti learning application. Thank you so much. Keep on studying. Have a good day. Bye-bye.